Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Vance, diversity of tactics, and being boring. We'll start with a message from one of you. It says, longtime viewer, subscriber, first-time emailer. In your recent video, let's talk about last night's debate between Walz and Vance. You recited the viewers' comments that they thought the debate was too boring. You said it's supposed to be boring, not a cage match, and that debates being so dramatic was an artifact of the Trump era. The thing is, I didn't want this debate to be a cordial conversation between two adults about policy differences. In my eyes, that lends legitimacy to the fascists and allows them to launder their positions into the mainstream. The way debates about climate change legitimize climate denial. Which seems relevant given that this exact thing happened on stage before Vance dodged the question. I wanted it to be a cage match that Vance lost very obviously and publicly in a way that would make even the most disengaged voter avoid voting for him. Or one that at least forced him to articulate his awful positions for all to see. I don't long for drama because I want it to be reality TV. I long for an appropriate reaction to the radical nature of Vance's beliefs. Do you think this would have been worse than the boring, normal debate model we got instead? And if so, can you explain why? Feel free to shorten, sanitize. This is needed for the short-form video format. You're doing an awesome job maintaining continuity with the channel from where Bo left it. And even though not all the new segments are really my cup of tea, I love how much experimentation y'all are doing to find new stuff that works. Love the channel. First, thank you. And I'm glad y'all are up for more experimentation because it looks like there will be a lot of it, especially over on the other channel, The Roads with Bo. Okay, I don't like to answer a question with a question, but I think it's important to ask questions about what makes us feel better versus what actually works. The national conversation has changed a lot over the last 8 years. The way it takes place. The world is just flooded with radical takes, contrarian takes, and wild rhetoric. During Trump's presidency, there was a lot of rhetorical pushback. But what actually beat him? A boring old man. Trumpian claims aren't defeated with wild rhetoric. They aren't defeated by destroying them in dramatic debate. They're defeated with mockery and clear explanations as to why he's wrong. The dramatic debates and rhetorical gotchas make people who have invested 8 years of their life, many of whom lost contact with friends and family, dig in even further. There's no worrying about laundering his position. He's a nominee from a major party polling in the 40s. He is part of the mainstream. The question is, how do we get his rhetoric out of the mainstream? Appealing to the majority of people means not using rhetoric and tactics of the fringe. It's not as satisfying, but it's what works in electoral politics. The soundbite from the last presidential debate was, "They're eating the dogs," and Trump being mocked for being a gullible man who bought a Facebook meme. It hurt his chances of re-election a lot because it showed as being weird and out of touch. If Harris had screamed, "You're a xenophobic fascist," she would have been portrayed as being over-emotional to his minor flub. That's why weird works. Trumpism depends on being seen as normal. Taking that away from them removes their appeal. Pointing out, no, that's not what the Constitution says. No, that isn't how basic economics works. No, Trump didn't make us strong. No, Trump wasn't effective at anything. He rode Obama's economy and then it collapsed because he couldn't handle the pandemic. Trump is lying, and they're weird lies. That works. That doesn't mean the more direct rhetoric doesn't have its place. It does in normal conversation and in energizing the people already looking to the future. But when it comes to electoral politics in the U.S., it doesn't play as well. The time for pushing progressive ideas is during the period between elections, shifting the window at that point in time. During election season, it's about building a majority. The problem with showing them as out of touch and strange is that it only works when they show themselves. That moment when Vance refused to acknowledge reality about the last election and admit they lost will be what is remembered by the people because it was weird. Hanging on to that after 4 years is weird. It also makes them seem ineffectual. With hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars at their disposal, they were never able to demonstrate their claims. That doesn't seem like the type of people you want in charge. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.